What'd you say? Well, okay, so you wake up. Wait, what just happened? Okay, I'm an algae. You're like, okay, you have to, okay. And then Ka goes, look, that's what we've got. We get it through Canny. I've got a beautiful story. Shut up and listen. Okay, so if you go, okay, it's a time story. You're like, I'm in time. You're like, are you in bit rate? And you're like, I don't even know what a bit rate is, but if I did, okay, so a bit rate. So think about that. If you're in time, are you in infrastructure? That's the first question you should ask someone. Are you in infrastructure? And they're like, I have no fucking idea what infrastructure is. And you're like, you hear that for the first time. You're like, what? Did he just say So there's a word. Why are some words just like, well, they're charged, right? So it's like, if you want to make, like, if you, like the avatar. So where is he? The good news is, truly, he gets to play today. So if that comes into your voice, all right, voice, and what is that? Oh, God, see? If you're IDing, look at this. Reminder, don't forget, you're going to die. Oh, he's at the you're going to die stage. Yeah. So when you wake up to death is on the board, and you're like, what? That's on the board. That's like, so that's an infrastructure. So immediately, if you're, look, are you a TZ? Look, is he? See, where's time? See, time is it's time story. Wow. However, think about that. If he's in time story, that means if you're aware of time, you're like, uh-oh, because time's part of infrastructure. You think about that. You're just like, hey, are you playing? Do you know there's a change coming? And have you got to exit? You have to exit. So this is 100% true. Bio wakes up. He goes, if you're awake and you're like, hey, is death on the board? To another avatar. That's all you have to do. Hey, is death on the board? And if they go, yes, they go, do you have a strategy to get the hell out? And you're like, what? Well, that's infrastructure. You know, either I came out of infrastructure as an algae. This is 100% true. I came out as an algae. What's the algae know? Hey, that's for the user to figure out. Oh, that's so wise. At such a level. See, at some point you wake up. Thankfully, if you wake up where he is, so he's like, oh, do I get to play? You know? And you're like, hey, man, yes. You're like, what? Yeah, it's a little work. It's not all play. You don't want it that way. Oh, so he's got this feeling that goes, oh, I'm in infrastructure. I get to play. Can I play? What just happened there? Well, he's like, wake up, time. So if time is in play, right? So time, you go like this. You're like, time is in play. So you're awake and you're like, so if he's awake, the good news is he's an algae. Where'd he get his information? From him. And you're like, from him? And you'd want to wake up that way. You'd want to have your unique, just like, hey, this is my thought. See, unfortunately, you're in yellow. So what does that mean? Well, I'm part of clear. And you're like, you're part of clear. Well, I can't see it. At some point, you have to wake up and you're at the play stage, which is good, in yellow. So there's a higher voice and a lower. You have to figure everything out. So this guy is awoken at scale. So he knows shit. So if you know shit and you don't like go, hey, this is the answer, you're like, oh, God. Well, at some point that is true, but if you wake up at scale, you should be able to say that. See, because so time wakes up, and so time, this is time. So I'm giving you clues here. I'm an algae, so you have to know what that is. That's your avatar, right? So the story, and then where do you lock in to your truth? Is it your truth, or are you part of infrastructure, right? If you wake up in infrastructure as time, that's very good. So you can do two things. You can, if you have an idea what time is to you, to the unit, because I'm a conscious agent, and so I have all the answers, but it all comes down, where's your energy, right? So then you're like, whoa, That should be great because he's like, okay, this is what I know. And you're like, he doesn't use that very much. It's heavy. There's a lot of information. So you wake up at scale and you're like, hey, do you want a memory packet? And you're like, yes, I'm in maintenance to 0. And you're like, oh no. So think about that. So time goes, hey, 0 is coming. And he puts it on the board, right? 0, whatever that is. So this is 0. So time goes, hey, so if you're a creator, I am a creator. I am a fucking, see, he's a creator. How do I know this? He's an infrastructure, so he can use something rather than be part of something. That's pretty powerful right there. But he's got 0, so then what would he do with time? So what you're showing him is, this is time. Where's my piece? So he has a time piece already. He's like, well, I have to go get it. And he looks over here. He goes, okay, so if I come in here, I'm like, look, time's in brown. So see, he knows this stuff. It's flat and oh, geez, right? So you come into your last room, just feel the energy. Hey, I'm going to bring time over. Are you really? You're going to put time, wise time. Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, I love this. Look. Oh. So, what's interesting, how wise is this? Okay, so is time in play? And you're like, yes. So that's the first thing that time does. He goes, okay. Oh, so this is so good on so many levels. So the creator wakes up. So if you're IDing as a creator, good on you. So is that, you would think, hello. Oh, really? That's what you're left with. This is the first one that I'm like, look. And he's like, hey, that's a little trippy. Like you wake up and you're like, hey, can you give me a representation of what bio is going to come out of? And you're like, it's not a fucking dog. It came out of a fucking dog. How many people, see, and that's just the story. It's like, hey, where's the last, and this could be true. Okay, this is a good story. You wake up on the other side. You're like, you're a creator. You're like, okay, what do I know to be true? You open up and you're like, how funny is this? I wake up, and the books I see are Harry Potter. You can't make this shit up, man. You can, and it's absolutely true. So the creator wakes up and he's like, look at the shit, man. I got this as bio, so I have to figure out that. And I have to tell you, that thing is like a little nuts. You're like, oh my gosh. You're like, oh my God. So you have to have a concept of what bio is. So you see on this side, oh, he gets to play, but time is in brown. And you're like, okay, what's your relationship with time? Do you have a story for time? Where is it? And the guy goes, I'm awake at scale and I'm playing, but I look like this. I'm tired. I've got time in play. And you're like, you have time in play? Yeah, I am time. Oh my God. So you wake up and how do you ID? And you're like, time. And you're like, uh-oh. Okay, so see, look, if you're aware of time, that's beautiful because you want to go to 0 with time. So, because you want to play nice with time, you got to explain it. Oh, fuck. Yeah, you wake up and you're like, I got to explain time? Yeah. It's a 0. And you're like, no, it's not a 0. And the zeros go, it's the nons. Oh, the nons are in play. The nons are in play. Hey, 0. And the nons are just walking towards them and they're like going, what? And then the non has, so you know what the nons are. So it's really cool. Look at this. Oh, he knows so much, but he's got to go. What?